Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Art Museum by the Zoo, a Korean romantic comedy from 1998. Now in the West there's a certain stigma attached to romantic comedies, generally speaking. It's understandable in some sense because some of them are pretty bad, probably most of them, right? However, I actually became a fan of this subgenre while exploring South Korea's film industry, and I've reviewed a bunch of my personal favorites over the years, like Couples, My Sassy Girl, All About My Wife, and I'm a Cyborg, But That's Okay, being a few examples. Even Castaway on the Moon, which is a great film, could be classified as an unconventional rom-com. And I do think that Art Museum by the Zoo is another solid example of why I like these movies, if they're done well. Now, back in the day, this was a fan favorite on the message boards I used to frequent when I first got into Korean cinema back in the mid-2000s. And on top of that, it has legit credentials and bragging rights because both lead actors received numerous awards for their performances in the film, including some of the biggest prizes in the Korean film industry for that year. And I've been wanting to review this one for quite a while, but it has been difficult to find in recent years. Fortunately, it showed up on Daily Motion recently, so I'm taking this opportunity to cover it. Now here's the plot. On leave from the military, Cheol-soo arrives at his girlfriend's apartment, only to find it occupied by another woman, Choon-hee. After a few days, he finds out that his girlfriend is now engaged to someone else, and having nowhere else to live before returning to military service, he temporarily stays with Choon-hee. At first, the two struggle to get along, but before long, he discovers that she is writing a screenplay for a competition, and they work on the story together based on their own experiences of love, titling it Art Museum by the Zoo. So if you dislike romantic comedies that are wacky, you're perfectly safe with this one. Events are very low-key, realistic. They avoid any wacky shenanigans. The more humorous interactions between the leads focus on the characters' personality traits, living habits, and everyday situations that come from staying together in the same apartment. For example, some amusing moments early on involve this man's insistence on just showing up at this apartment and kind of demanding that this woman help him contact his old girlfriend. And there's some funny scenes that arise from that. Another positive is that there's a dialogue-heavy approach here, which requires a good script. And some examples are the awkward breakup scene that happens, the scenes where they talk about art, zoos, movies, literature, or romance in general. And there's even a conversation about astronomy at one point, with love being a metaphor in some sense. And, all of these conversations are framed from the perspective of helping the girl to write the best screenplay and win the competition. And, her character's portrayed as a little bit more on the naive and inexperienced side, so the man is attempting to help her, give her some pointers on romance. Now, the lead actress, Eun-ha, very popular back in the day. Christmas in August was another huge hit for her around this time, and I even enjoyed the thriller Tell Me Something, which is not for everyone, but I quite like that film as well. And she has a very small filmography because allegedly, and this is what I read online, and we all know the internet is true about everything, right? But this is what I've heard. She hated celebrity life so much that, primarily because she was constantly being harassed by tabloid journalists anytime there would be a rumor about her personal life. And she got so sick and tired of it, she just quit acting. So that's kind of a shame because she was a very good actress, but it may have been a wise choice for her. Now, the lead actor, Lee Sung-jae, is still working in the industry. A lot of his highlights seem to be earlier film roles and later drama roles. So I'm more familiar with his films. So you're talking about Attack the Gas Station, which is a classic, Barking Dogs Never Bite, which I think is underappreciated, and Public Enemy, which has grown on me in recent years. And good lead actor, not very flashy in his acting style, but he's quite good. And then we have veteran actor An Sung-ki, who pops in and out of the movie. And he plays an actual character who's in the opening scene. But for the rest of the film, he's in these quaint daydream sequences that kind of link to the writing of the screenplay that they're doing. And his scenes are a little bit different from what you might expect, but it definitely adds to the experience. It's nice to see him here, as it always is. So I think Art Museum by the Zoo is just a very good quality, pleasant movie. Very pleasant. Currently available on Daily Motion, so it's easy to watch right now. And I strongly recommend this one. I think, some of these Korean films from the late 90s had like an indie type vibe to them in terms of budget and style, where they kind of like kept things more minimalistic, but they focused on the script quite a lot. So I think you'll enjoy this, even if you're not a huge fan of romantic comedies. Now, the copy on Daily Motion is very similar to the old DVD that I have that's out of print. It's not great visual audio quality, and the subtitles appear maybe like a minute into the movie, too. So just don't be scared if you don't see subtitles. They'll pop up in a minute. But this really needs a Blu-ray release. Hopefully we get one at some point. But let me know what you think of this if you've seen it. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.